Hi everybody, I promised yesterday that I would do a tutorial on the Breaking Dawn tags. I don't know if you call it a tutorial, but I just want to show you how I did the background. So I'm going to do the background I made on this tag, including the tree branches and stuff. Okay, so let's get started. Oops. First of all, I started with a piece of raw chipboard, and I cut it with my craft knife and a ruler and a self-healing mat with the grid lines for the measurements. That's what I always do. And these were tall tags, so I think I cut this one, I think it was 8.5 by 4 inches. And then I covered it with canvas, although I think that really wasn't necessary because I ended up covering it up, but for the sake of trying to make it the same as how I did it, I covered it with the sticky back canvas. And I'm talking about this stuff here, Claudine Helmuth Studio sticky back canvas. It comes in 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12. It comes in white or it comes in natural color. And I used white. Then first thing I did was use my regular gel mat by Golden. This is the gel that I used. I have a lot of different gels, and I happen to use this one, but I don't think it really matters, what brand or whether it was. I tend to want to use the matte on this project, but I probably could have used the glossy as well. If that's all I'd had, that's what I would have done. Or you could use the heavy, just whatever you have on hand. And then I started covering it up with this script tissue paper. Looks like that. This one happens to be by Recollections. I got it at Michael's in the single paper section. It comes in with 5 sheets to a package, and I really love this stuff because it's tissue paper, so you can, decoupage a cigar box, many things. Piece of scrapbook layout, because it's so thin, you can do whatever you want with it. And I think it's cheaper than, I think Tim Holtz has it too, but I think this is cheaper. Okay, so I'm going to make a big old mess here, but I started by just slathering on the gel. I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can, so probably not going to be as careful as I might otherwise be. And then just randomly adding the tissue paper and going over the sides. I really don't care about, because I'm just going to trim it all off later anyway. So if it doesn't go all the way to the sides, I don't care about that either. It's just random. And I just kind of tore it into pieces beforehand. I don't really even care about what direction it goes in, because it's not really gonna show, but it's gonna give the end result some kind of a depth. That one's upside down, doesn't matter either. Doesn't matter if there's bubbles. Okay, so I've covered the whole thing. I don't think I covered the whole tag on the original one, but that's okay. And then I use this netting. I guess it's tulle, but it's a little bit thicker texture than the tulle that I generally work with. But it was close by, and I couldn't find my other tulle. The only problem with this one is that it doesn't, I melted it with my heat gun, and this one took a long time to melt. So I'm actually going to skip that step today, because I don't want to keep you waiting while I melt the tulle. But if you use the thinner kind, it will melt better. So, and again, I'm just putting that on randomly, because that's going to make the ink sprays catch in a pattern. Okay, so let me see, am I stuck to the table? No. Alright, now what I'm going to do next is start using some sprays on it. And so now I'm really going to make a mess. And I don't remember if I let this all dry. I can't remember, but I'm going to do it without drying it. Most of the sprays I'm using are by Dilutions, and these are not glimmer sprays, they're just ink spray. And I think I will use this Glimmer Mist because it's a gold shimmery. I'm going to start with a dark blue. Most of this will be covered up, but I figure that, you know, the sky behind the whole scene is dark blue, so that's why I'm going to add that one. And then I'm going to add some shades of green. Here's the forest is green. And the forest is also, well, I'll use another shade of green, especially towards the, especially towards the bottom. So, I mean, that's basically it. I'll put a little brown in there too. And it's a little bit darker than what I'd like, so I'm going to try and lighten it up with a lighter shade of green. This one's more of a lime green. Alright, now at this point I think I need to do a little blotting. Okay, so let me see. Then you just kind of do this until you like the pattern. And this one came out a lot different than the one I originally did, but I kind of like it. And you see, you can really see the netting. Oops. You can really see the netting, but if I had hit that with the heat gun like I did on the other ones, you wouldn't see it so much because it would be melted in. But now I think I'm going to add a little bit more brown, different shade. This will be nutmeg, just to fill in. And I'm going to leave the bottom more green because most of the trees are in this area. And a little bit more now of the grass green. Okay. I think I like that, but I do wish I could have the time to hit this with the gun. Okay, so there's my textured, lots of color background. That's all. You know, there's no right or wrong. Just randomly spray it on. And that netting is going to make a really nice effect, especially when you hit it with the heat gun. And then, the next thing I did was to make my trees. And I just did that with hot glue. Hold on a minute. Let me put a paper towel under my mess. Or at least wipe this off because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, that's a little better. I couldn't even find the edges of the tag. All right. So I'm just going to start. I think I need a new stick. I'm just going to start drawing branches. And I have to tell you, I can't really see what I'm doing because this isn't dry. Maybe I should have done a time lapse. I don't know, hopefully you can see this. You know, just a random, I can see it, so I think as soon as I emphasize it with my next step. Okay, now it's time to put another stick in. And then I did a base, a little bit thicker. Of course, I pretty much covered that up. And then some roots. Okay, so I know you can, I can see it through the camera, so I'm pretty sure that you can see it too. Just like that. And now that has to dry. So, I don't know how long that's going to take. I didn't even think about that when I started to plan this video. But what I did after this dried, what I added was some of this. It's by Ranger and it's called Patina for All Metal. And although that's not metal, is still a very slick surface. So you can, you can rub this on there and it looks really good. What I did is I used some of this moss color, and I used some white, and I used some black until I had the effect that I wanted. And then I sprayed over the whole thing with this glimmer mist in gold. See, and that gave it, let me show you see, that's pretty much it. See, that, I think I ended up really with the same color as what you're seeing now, only this is clear, so you still want to cover it up. But I don't know if you can see the glimmer in there of the gold. I don't know. Oh, there it goes. Now you can. So I added that gold spray to get that glimmer. And then I added the moss, the fresh moss, so it smelled really good. And I added the flowers, and that was it. But basically, here's your background. And you could leave this perfectly clear. You could put rub and buff on it. You could put some black gesso on there. Maybe mix the gesso with the gel medium so that it spreads a little bit easier. I'm going to touch this, but I don't think, it's actually pretty dry quickly. So, all right, let's move on then. Well, this stuff a little bit goes a long ways, just like rub and buff. Oh, I put a little bit of green. And it doesn't matter if it's, if it ends up on the tag. Okay, so now it's green, but of course it's blending in a little bit too much with the background. So put a little bit of accent of this light or off-white color. And I don't really have a plan when I do this. I just kind of do it until I like the look. Okay, now it's really white, so I think I just maybe put a little bit of black. This is by Dilutions. This is the black ink spray. But you know what I think I did actually? Before I did that, I used a little bit of gesso. This is hard to do because nothing's dry. But I used a little bit of gesso just to lighten up the areas in between the branches. This is working kind of good because it's still wet. Okay, so that's going to highlight my branches a little bit. Now, a little bit of a black spray all over. So now we have that. And it's too dark. So I'm going to go back to, I think back to the green maybe. Now if you're, a little bit patient, you would wait to let all this stuff dry in between. That's the problem why it's all kind of melding together here. But you get the idea. I think we're just going to do a little bit of this gold spray and call it done. It's almost out. I have to get another one of these. So that's it. That's the background. Doesn't it look like a spooky forest? And, if I had melted that tulle in there and had waited for things to dry, it would have looked a little bit better. But anyway, there are many mixed media techniques out there. This is one of many. Using the hot glue for tree branches or whatever pattern that you like. And using the netting, that's a pretty common and just use lots of spray. Every layer of spray is going to give you more depth to your project. Anyway, I hope this helps and gives you some ideas on what you might want to do with your own tags. And I hope that I could inspire you to enter the swap. And thanks for watching. Bye.